Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
This week, Ollie is at the Taipei Bike Show in Taiwan. John is looking at cyclocross tech in Belgium.
Back here though, we have all the latest tech news, including new goodies from Envy, Canyon and Eddie Merckx.
Oh. As we just mentioned, Ollie and John are both out and about hunting out the very best new tech. John trying to get his grubby little hands on some grubby cyclocross tech. Actually, not grubby. He's gone and landed Mathieu van der Poel's pro bike and Marianne Vos's pro bike. So those will be both on the channel coming up soon. Yeah. And Ollie, I'm really jealous. Ollie's at the Taipei Bike Show, which is one of my favorite events of the whole year. He is sending back a load of videos. And he's sending back this week's big talking point, so stay tuned for that.
More from them in a little bit then. First up, we have news of a brand new Canyon. They have completely readdressed their Aeroad model and they have created a budget version. It comes in with a slightly heavier frame, but is effectively just as stiff and just as aero as the premium SLX.
Yeah, so I guess it comes out of the same mold, right?
It comes out of exactly the same mold and comes with new colors too.
It does indeed. Now, it is considerably cheaper given that the starting point is the CF SL 7.0 and that's €2,699. Now, of course, that is a significant investment, but given that it comes with Reynolds carbon wheels and that Shimano 105 group set, it looks really premium these days, doesn't it? I mean, you've got to look kind of closely to see that that is indeed 105.
Next up are these new gravel products from Envy, who are further blurring the line between what started out as quite a niche sport and mountain biking when it was originally begun years ago. They have released these lighter and wider products, citing comfort and stability on the rough stuff.
Yeah, we'll start with a fork, shall we, first of all. Internal cable routing, excellent from an aesthetic thing, but also, personally, Chris, I can't stand zip ties being a fundamental part of attaching cables to your bike.
No,
so if they
agree.
can get rid of at least some of those, that'll be an absolute bonus. Oversized steerer tube, all important clearance. 50mm for 650B wheels, 45mm for 700C, but bear in mind that Envy have to be conservative with their widths there in order to comply by the regulations that's placed upon them. So one would assume you could probably squeeze something a little bit plumper in there. Nice. 520 grams is the weight of their fork.
It's not bad that, they look pretty cool as well. Next up then, how about these wildly flared bars?
Tell you what, mate, I bet you love a wild flare, don't you, Jim Travolta?
I do, yeah. 12 centimeters wider in the drop than they are on the tops. And
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, and released in all the standard sizes, so 2 centimeter increments, meaning that the 48 centimeter bar will actually be 60 centimeters center to center at the drop.
Wow.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't that long ago that cross-country mountain bikes had narrow bars.
No, I believe my first cross-country mountain bike handlebar was 21.5 inches back in 1992. And downhill mountain bike handlebars were narrower than 600mm.
Wow.
So there we go.
But I bet they didn't weigh 246 to 281 grams like these do.
No.
And did they have that epic logo from Envy either?
Actually, to be fair, my titanium Titech handlebars, I think, were like 140 grams.
What?
Still got them knocking around somewhere. Yeah, anyway, you're right though. I mean, there is a very blurred line, isn't there, now between gravel and mountain bikes. It was interesting, some of the comments under that Iceland video where we compared a gravel bike with a mountain bike. People were suggesting that my gears were too tall because I was using road gears. Okay. Maybe I should have used mountain bike gears. People were saying that my tyres were a bit narrow for what we were doing. Maybe I should have used 50mm wide. And then you're at the point where you're like, well, I'm basically riding a mountain bike, but with drop handlebars. And what's the advantage there? Why not just stick a flat handlebar on?
So you're suggesting we go and dig our bikes out from the 90s?
Well, you know, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? The next video should be comparing a gravel bike to a retro mountain bike. Which is faster?
Right then, it's now time for Ollie and this week's talking point. He's causing trouble in Taiwan, checking out unbranded carbon.
Ollie, you there? Ollie? He's there.
I'm here at the Taipei Bike Show, which is Asia's largest bicycle trade show. So while I was here, I thought this would be a great opportunity to chat to some industry experts. And I wanted to find out a bit more about the dangers of counterfeit products. Now, many of you will have heard of counterfeit products, and some of you may have been unlucky enough to actually have come across them. So I want to find out more about how common are they and how can you spot them and avoid buying them in the future. So to do that, I'm going to talk to Mark Vandermolen, who is the MD of Vision and FSA in the USA. So, right, I'm going to go find him. To get more of an insight, I'm here with Mark Vandermolen, who is the Managing Director of FSA and Vision in the United States. So what kind of products have you seen counterfeited?
You see, and you know, in our case, we see things like stems, handlebars, seat posts. Those are the kind of the main control components. Those items tend to be, especially in like I say, a standard stem or a standard handlebar. You know, there's a lot of things that go into them, but they can maybe, you know, mimic the appearance, if you will, and then be able to just kind of copy some logos and try to put that on there. So that could be something that would come up, but you know, there's ways that you can kind of spot that stuff.
And in terms of the sort of the quality of counterfeit products, I mean, are there any sort of dangers? Do you see them, you know, how do they compare to the actual genuine article?
Well, I mean, the trouble I think that the end user has is that they can't tell, and so they may look at a stem or a handlebar and they think, oh, it looks the same, so it must be the same. But you know, when it comes to things like, you know, if you're looking at something online and you find that the price is half of what it might be from a reputable dealer or buying from the brand, and you find that, oh, hey, the weight looks, you know, too good and the price is too good to pass up, that might be some red flags that, you know, maybe the end users need to kind of take a look at, you know, is this really a quality product? Is it really the name brand product? Or am I buying something from a company I've never heard of before and it doesn't look quite right? Those are some things that people definitely need to pay attention to.
I imagine that there's going to be quite a few people who will watch this and will be cynical, and they will go, well, of course, you know, you're going to say that because you work for FSA and Vision, and they're going to say, well, you know, I've got this product, this fake one, and I've got the real one, and they've basically been made in the same mold, and outwardly they look the same. So I can save myself a load of money by getting the fake one. I mean,
you know, and in that case, I mean, odds are they weren't made maybe in the same mold, but they could have been having some similar design aspects to them. Especially with carbon, what you find is that outward appearances can be deceiving, and so really the structure on the inside, the layup schedule, how the carbon's been put together, you know, how the curing's been done, how many layers of carbon they use, what orientation they were in, all those things you can't see from the outside. So, for example, if you bought a carbon handlebar and two carbon handlebars look virtually identical, you might find that, you know, one could test where it's got half as much strength as what the legit reputable branded product does, because there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Well, it's that thing of, you know, you buy a pair of carbon handlebars and they snap. If I bought a pair of your carbon handlebars and they snap, I'd be going straight to you guys.
Well, let's hope that there's no problem like that. Yeah. But you know, I mean, we you know, our development, our testing, you know, the validation that the product goes through well before it goes into the marketplace. I mean, we've done countless rounds of testing. There's, you know, obviously the ISO standards in the industry to deliver safe, reliable product, and we test above and beyond that. And so, you know, in our case, you know, should somebody have a problem with a product, not just a handlebar, if it was any of our products, that, you know, we want to be able to take care of our customers and, you know, to be able to service them and to make sure that they're safe and they have good quality product. So, you know, but it's just one of those things that we put so much investment and time and effort into trying to bring, you know, safe, reliable product to market that, you know, it's certainly something that maybe people don't see on the outside, but that's definitely something that goes into everything that we would bring to market.
Nice. Well, thanks a lot for your time, Mark. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Right then, make sure you get involved in the comment section after that one. Some really interesting points there raised by Ollie's story. So yeah, get stuck in.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to scrolling through those comments next week.
Absolutely.
We've also had John Cannings out in Belgium, who has been checking out all the cyclocross tech that he could get his fingers on. He was at the Soudal Cross in Neerpelt and the Super Prestige in Ruddervoorde. Check it out.
Say it again.
Ruddervoorde.
In Ruddervoorde in Belgium for the Super Prestige. It's where cyclocross cyclocross meets effectively a festival. You can probably hear it all kicking off in the background. Yeah, that's the beer tent over there, and that's Matthew Vandermolen as well, just casually riding by. I'm going to have a look around to see what amazing little bits of tech I can find for you back in the studio. So I'm not going to interrupt Nikki, she's busy on the rollers there, or turbo trainer, but check out that, yeah, customised coloured Zip logos on her wheels. How cool is that? Very jealous John here. So far, nobody has told me to go away from getting too close looking at their tech, which is always good. And well, yeah, I've just managed to stumble across this pretty lot of Canyon in-flight CF SLXs. So this is Panda. She's not really pandering to my attention much, but yeah, anyway, how cool is that, a Dalmatian? Panda, come here. I absolutely love a dog, especially a Dalmatian, but she doesn't appear to love me much. Oh well, back to the bike tech.
Right, thank you very much, John. There's some cracking tech there as well. We got more here right in our workshop, starting with this from Muck-Off. Now, are you the kind of person that wants to clean your bike with the wheels on, but are worried about contaminating your disc rotors? Me neither, but if you are, then this is a product for you. Disc rotor covers. So you can basically clean your bike, spray your WD-40 wherever you like, without any worry about not being able to stop afterwards or getting really squeaky brakes. So There we go.
And they remind you to take them off before you ride the bike.
I would imagine that would be a sensible thing to do, yeah.
I found this on Indiegogo this week, the Boomerang Cyclotrack version 2, which is an updated version of what they did the first time.
Version 2 is an update from version 1. Goodness me.
Which is the most advanced GPS tracker, anti-theft and crash detection device on the market.
Well, there we go. And apparently trusted by police.
It was the first one.
Yeah, indeed. I'm not entirely sure what they were trusting it for, but they trusted it. This version 2 has an update in the form of that crash detection. It's also got a panic button, and then it's got updates to the app as well. You know what? I'm not a massive fan of the idea of putting an alarm on my bike, but one day, maybe all bikes are going to have them, you know, if they're neat enough. And
under the stem maybe, nice and sleek, you won't even notice it.
Absolutely, and on your city bike, massive e-bike or whatever, yeah, fair enough, I think.
And we'll finish this week's news with this. A legend is set to return to the Tour de France. Eddie Merckx bikes will once again be in the World Tour under the riders of Ager Desert. And look at that bike.
Wow.
Everything about this bike is just so right to me, Sign. Everything. It's got modern design and technology with those kind of traditional styles as well.
Yeah, and it's like a who's who of European tech, isn't it? We've got Mavic on there, we've got Rudestein tyres, we've got rotor cranks, Campy group set. Yeah, you're right, that's great. And is it a coincidence that Eddie Merckx bikes are returning to the World Tour and indeed the Tour de France next year? Probably not, because if you remember, the Tour de France route starts in Brussels next year, just down the road from Eddie Merckx's birthplace, and it happens to be the 50th anniversary commemorating his first Tour de France victory.
I wonder if Ager Desert have any Tour de France contenders.
Romain Bardet.
And on to screw riding upgrades by upgrades. Nico's Globus took a convincing victory last week with 61% of the votes over Justin's Trek with 38%. So well done to you.
Absolutely, yeah, convincing victory. Right, this week we've got, well, no romance from Scott in Brisbane. He wanted the ultimate Zwift setup. And you know what, Chris? Judging by those photos, I think you might have got it. Certainly for you, we've got some John Travolta disco lights.
Yeah, you could dance all night today.
Check it out. A fan that might even stop me sweating, but probably not. I mean, that is some serious Zwifting setup. Fair play there, Scott. And then what are they up against, Chris?
And that is up against Mark and Kim's 2006 Canyon Aeroad tandem. I do love a tandem.
Nice, I like it. They said that they got together 5 years ago. Kim was very keen to join in with Mark's cycling, and so after a few months of scouring online ads, they found a rough diamond in the form of this Cannondale tandem. So what did they do to pimp it, Chris?
Well, there were a few upgrades, as the original was looking a little bit tired, they say. So, Rolf wheels, 25mm Conti tyres, Shimano Icetech rotors, hybrid hydraulic calipers, and a group set upgrade as well.
Nice, there we go.
Flies now.
Right. That's quite a difficult choice, isn't it? Because so different. One is the ultimate Zwift setup, including disco lights, and the other is like the ultimate way of spending time with your loved one out on your push bike. Bike of the week now, and before we give you the images of this week's stunners for you to choose between, what about the results of last week? Well, the choice was Matteo Trentin Scott up against Sylvain Dillier's Factor, and winning with 59% of the vote. It was Matteo Trentin Scott.
Yeah, there's another walkaway victory this week. It wasn't close at all.
Absolutely. Now this is another hard decision. Do you go retro? Do you go modern? What have we got, Chris?
We have this new release from Eddy Merckx, which will be at next year's Tour de France, and it's going up against a retro classic, the original bike that Eddy Merckx rode himself to Grand Tour victory.
In 1974, it's just Colnago branded up Eddy Merckx in the iconic Maltini colours.
What would you go for, Si?
Well, this might borderline heresy. I don't actually like the Maltini colours. I'd go for the modern one.
No.
Yeah,
I think you
I'm
must
really
be
sorry.
The only person I've ever heard say that.
Oh, it's like brown, isn't it?
No, it's orange-ish.
Anyway, there we go. The decision is not ours. The decision is yours. Make sure you vote on screen now. Right, it's time now for the Bike Vault. We have some amazing looking bikes for you to have a look at now, and for us to ultimately pass judgment as to whether it's a nice or a super nice. Chris, who is up first?
Well, hang on, you're missing the important part of the show. The Carabao.
Wow.
Right then.
Flamboyant.
First up is this entry from Jun in Grand Junction, Colorado, an Orbea Orca Aero 2018 model. And look how beautiful those colours are.
Sorry, the bike or the autumn leaves?
Well, both,
because that
to be
bike,
honest.
I'm loving that. What's that? Blue with a bit of teal on there.
Yeah.
What a bike! Rotor cranks. We've got zip wheels. Man alive, that is a cool bit of kit, isn't it?
Yep, and I love the way it's in those autumn leaves. What do you reckon, Si?
I think you're going to ring that bell.
Yeah.
All right then. Next up, we have the Cannondale Synapse from Dave. This was taken near Mount Hood in the state of Oregon, he said. He purchased the bike 2 years ago and since upgraded the rear cassette to a 9-40 for climbing. Wow, fair play. I do love that shot.
Yeah, it's quite moody the way the bike's not really lit up, but yet everything in the background is.
Very cool. What are we going to say then?
I find it hard not to give that a super nice, Si.
Wow.
What do you
You're in
reckon?
a generous mood, aren't you?
Well,
I'd love to be able to say, well, ring the bell, Chris.
Yeah!
Ring the bell. Okay, now we've got Roland's Specialized Diverge Expert X1, 2019 model. Jumping the gun a little bit, Roland.
Right.
From Landshut, wherever that is. There we go. Oh, this is coming back to your road versus mountain bike theme. For a roadie, this might be a mountain bike as well as it could be a road bike for a mountain biker. That is cool, isn't it? Deep section Roval wheels. What are you thinking, Chris?
I think it's pretty cool, although you can't really see the colour of the frame that well for some reason.
No, it's quite camouflaged, isn't it?
But at the same time, Si,
Skin wall tyres.
yeah, that deserves a super nice almost on its own. But imagine the fun you could have on that bike.
Yeah, again, mate, it's one of these difficulties, isn't it? Separating the bike from the image.
Well, I'm not a photographer.
Well, there's a get out of jail free card.
What do you reckon?
Are you going to ring the bell, Chris?
Yeah!
Right, whew. Here you go, mate. Do you want to do your joke now?
Yeah, it's blooming brilliant, this one.
It is lovely, isn't it? So this is James's Cervelo S5. This is his new bike that he built himself at 15 years of age, complete with Ultegra 68,000 Di2 and Mavic Cosmics. That is a serious bit of kit, James, for a 15-year-old. Nice work, dude. I like that very much. Very much indeed. Those Cosmics are cool, aren't they?
How many papers did you deliver to pay for that?
Yeah.
I love that. That's brilliant. I find my hand itching to grab the bell. Good work, James.
This is going to be a full house, I can tell. Right, lastly, we've got this from Dan, which is his Willia 101 Air from New South Wales in Australia. Firstly, got to say, loving that photo. That's a good signpost to lean your aero bike up against, isn't it? Okay, what's he got? You know what, Chris? I can't actually see what's on his bike.
No.
This might be a problem.
Well, it's not, because I know what I want to give it already.
What?
I think it deserves a super nice
No,
side.
you can't do that because we can't see what's on it.
He's got 2 bottles, he's going for a long ride. He's stopped to take a picture next to a reduced speed sign because he's ridden so fast to get there.
Dan, you have to resubmit, mate. I can't give that a super nice because I don't know what it is.
And I can't give you a super nice if Si doesn't agree.
No, I'm really... Oh man, what a letdown at the end of the bike vault. Dan, please send it in again. show us exactly what is on that bike, sort the cracks out, make sure they're horizontal, please, and then...
Oh, sigh.
Yeah.
Or just wait for a week when Si isn't in.
Good point. Well, unfortunately, that brings us towards the end of the GCN Tech Show. Thank you very much to Ollie for sending his report in from the Taipei Bike Show. Thank you for John for sending his report back from Belgium. And Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure sat here with you, mate.
Well, thank you for having me, Si. It's always good to be here.
I'm not sure I'm the host, but there we go.
Hi.
Right, anyway, please give this a big thumbs up, and if you would like to check out another video here on the Tech channel, why not? We've been talking about gravel versus mountain bike. Why not check out that Moots Route 45 that I was lucky enough to cycle around Iceland on?